Good evening, everyone, and let me call the city council meeting to order tonight. Our first item on the agenda is our invocation and our pledge of allegiance, so please remain standing after our invocation. Mr. Matt Herman, would you please do us the favor?
Dear Lord, we ask that you watch over our meeting tonight and ask that you give us the wisdom and guide us to make decisions in the best interest of the city. We also ask for your help all over the nation and the world, especially with the pandemic now, everything that's going on, and help people realize that even, where there is hatred, that we need to show them love, and that we're all just trying to do what we think is best for all of our communities. So let's just watch over everyone, keep everyone safe, and we ask, the fires throughout California and the western United States, that you help those people that have been evacuated, losing their homes. And of course, Father, watch over our first responders, both the firefighters, policemen, and those protecting our freedoms abroad in the world and the armed services. And we just ask again that you bless this world right now when we really need it. And come bless the citizens of Casa Grande and guide us tonight in these decisions. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Matt. All right, let the roll call show that everyone is here except Ms. Kortzen.
We have to excuse her.
So is there a motion to excuse her?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. She's still not here, but she's excused.
Mayor, regarding the minutes, I move that we approve the city council regular meeting minutes from August 17th as they're presented, and that we accept for the record the Arts and Humanities Commission minutes from March 3rd, the Police Personnel Retirement Board minutes from July 10th, and the Fire Personnel Retirement Board minutes from July 2nd as presented.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Minutes are approved. Claims against the city, item D1.
Mayor McFarland, I move to accept and pay the claims dated August 12th through September 1st, 2020 as presented.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of approving the claims, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I abstain from that.
Okay, one abstention.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next is the meeting agenda approval. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda?
Mayor, members of the council, staff is asking that you remove item G9 from the agenda this evening. Judge Wattis and I have had some discussions about the appointments of the deputy city magistrates. There's some additional work that we need to do on this, and ultimately we'll bring this back at a future council meeting.
All right, thank you, Mr. Raines. Any other items need to be changed or moved? Anyone? Okay, seeing none, I'll,
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of the consent agenda as amended.
Meeting agenda.
no, it's the
Meeting agenda. Oh, so not the consent, sorry. Meeting agenda as amended.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the agenda is set. We do have a special presentation tonight, a retirement recognition for Martha Spellbring. Is Martha here?
Yes.
There she is. I can't see her from the podium.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let me come down there. I'll have to mask up.
Yes, you do.
You can get your speech ready, Martha, while you're waiting.
Where's the door, right? So, Martha, in recognition of your 25 years of dedicated service to the city of Casa Grande, and tonight, easier to see without him. Tonight we have another retiring employee to honor from the Parks and Maintenance Division of the Community Services Department. Martha came to work for the city of Casa Grande on July 31st, 1995 in the Sanitation Division recycling operation. She moved over to the Parks Maintenance Division in 1999, where she has served for the past 21 years. So she's hanging it up after 25 years of service to our community. And on behalf of the City Council, staff, myself, and the City of Casa Grande, we wish you well in your retirement. We're jealous, or wherever else your journey takes you, if it isn't into full retirement. I wouldn't recommend full retirement. So again, Martha, thank you for your service, and congratulations.
Perfect timing.
The masked retirement party. Congratulations.
Well, that was good time.
There you go.
I know, she came running down.
I just thank you all. I have enjoyed my time here.
Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.
We're gonna miss you. We're gonna miss you.
Congratulations again, Martha. All right, next item on the agenda is our consent agenda items. With the one elimination of G9, are there any other changes? Okay, seeing none, then I'll entertain a motion to,
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of the consent agenda with the exception of G9, which has been removed.
Second?
all right, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right. Next is item G14, consider a resolution number 5259.
Mayor, I believe G14 was part
That
of
was
the consent agenda.
Well, it's not asterisked on my sheet, so sorry.
Oh,
See how trained I am? I look for asterisks.
That is weird that the asterisk did.
Okay, never mind. Item H, which is public comments, so there'll be no public comments tonight due to our COVID-19 situation. Next is I, award of contracts, I-1, a resolution, consider resolution number 5258. Chief?
Mayor, Council. Mayor and Council, our staff recommends that Mayor and City Council authorize our staff to execute contracts or issue purchase orders for the purpose of purchase of materials and services for the upgrade of our audio system in the Emergency Operations Center. We're requesting that Technology Providers Incorporated, TPI, be selected for this implementation for Phase 2. TPI was the company that was originally put in the audio equipment when our building was built. And if you remember back in March when we did an emergency fix of the EOC, when none of us really knew what to expect when COVID hit, they're also the ones that come in and fix the old equipment to make it operable in case of an emergency. What this contract would upgrade strictly all our audio systems to include an installation of a new digital sound processor with networked audio capabilities, and will allow for more flexibility in swapping out equipment and expand the audio function in the EOC. It would also add 2 upgraded microphones. Currently, the EOC has one microphone that comes down, and if you're not sitting in the first row, you can't really be heard, any questions or anything, but in an operation in the EOC, the new microphones would allow for communication from anywhere in the room to everybody in the room. And basically, our audio equipment in the EOC, the city's EOC, has reached the end of life. And it's an analog system. There's a lot of a noticeable hum on the equipment, a lot of cracking sounds. And what this would do, it would take us from an analog system to a digital system, which is better, has better interoperability with our computers and today's technologies. I'll answer any questions if I'm able, as long as they're not too technical.
Chief, what's the total price tag on that?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to include that, Mayor. The price tag, I don't have the exact figure, but we were authorizing the FY 2021 budget for this project to be funded not to exceed $50,000. And the work that's gonna be done is coming in under the $50,000.
And it's already in our CPI?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Other questions? Bob?
I have a comment. I want to say that I'm personally offended that the equipment I selected to put in there is now considered the old equipment.
Some of us in that building are considered the old equipment too, Bob, so.
There's some ghosts in there.
Any other comments or questions?
He
Right.
did it.
Then I'll consider resolution, please, Gloria.
Resolution number 5258, a resolution of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting a proposal from Technology Providers, Inc. for the purchase and installation of the Phase 2 upgrade at the city's Emergency Operations Center, authorizing expenditure of public funds and authorizing the execution of a contract.
Mayor McFarland, I would move for the passage of resolution number 5258 as presented.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded, and thank you for your presentation, Chief. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, we'll move to I2. Consider ordinance number 3225. New street sweeper.
Thank you. Staff recommends that the mayor and city council approve the expenditure of funds for a new 2021 Elgin Broom Bear street sweeper from Freightliner of Arizona in an amount not to exceed $236,553. This will be used in our streets division. We're asking authorization to use state contract number CTR 041810 to make this purchase. If approved, this purchase will be replacing Unit 683, which is a 2015 Elgin Broom Bearer sweeper. It doesn't sound that old, but it has over 7,400 hours of use on it. And we're also seeing a annual increase in maintenance costs. Last year alone, it was $47,460 to maintain this one piece of equipment. And understand that's not all maintenance. Some of that is replacement brooms and those types of things. So it does seem a little inflated, but it is increasing. And we're looking at estimated costs if we continue to keep this vehicle in our fleet of about $40,000. So at this time, we're recommending replacement. We are going to be receiving $45,000 for the trade-in of the old piece of equipment, and there is adequate funding of $310,000 in this year's fiscal budget for replacement. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Matt, you didn't mention the rebate.
Yeah, I was happy about the trade-in. And this one's great too. Like, I've seen it around town and it looks, and when you're spending $40,000 to maintain a $45,000 machine, it's time, Kevin.
Any other comments or questions? All right, then I'll entertain an ordinance number, please, Gloria.
Ordinance number 3225, An ordinance of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the bid from Freightliner of Arizona LLC for the purchase of a 2021 Elgin Boom Bear Street Sweeper, authorizing the expenditure of public funds and authorizing the execution of a contract with or purchase order to Freightliner of Arizona LLC in accordance with the terms submitted to the Arizona State bid list.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of, what was it? Ordinance number, what was it?
3225.
3225 as presented, sorry.
Second?
My computer moved.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, we'll move to item K, ordinances, resolutions, and other matters. K1 is consider the financial adoption of ordinance number 1178.371.1.
Mr. Mayor, I'll read the title. These next three items appear not on the consent agenda because we did have one of the council members vote against it. Ordinance number 1178.371.1, an ordinance of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending zoning ordinance 1178 and its subsequent amendments by changing the zoning from single-family residential attached to general business on approximately 9.9 acres of property located generally at Courtson Road, Silver Reef Road, and Casa Grande Avenue, Casa Grande, Arizona.
So these next three items, we had discussion in the last council meeting. And so is there any other discussion needed? Do you all have any questions on it? Mr. Powell?
I have comments.
Go ahead. That's
The,
why the floor is open to you, sir.
You know, I was looking at some of what has been written from the people that are finding that this is something that's going to affect their property or whatever. And one of the things that hit me, he says, now there's a possibility of having an RV across the street in addition, and eventually will turn into Colonial del Sol. And anybody that was here early on, that Colonial del Sol was nice. It had lots of new trailers in there, and everything was good. But the history on these things normally isn't good. And what still makes me wonder is what happens is if the person owns the building, whether it's the modular home or otherwise, and the person pays a lease on the very last day of each year, which would allow them to try to get water. Because if it had gone into the following year, they would be stymied. But one of the things I know back a number of years ago when I first got on, we were getting too many mobile home parks in Casa Grande. And during a period of time, Mesa has got that stigma, Yuma got the stigma, Patsy Junction is a trailer town. And I think we want to have some, but I'm afraid that I don't understand if a guy leaves, what happens to the house? If he can't sell his house and he leaves and the guy's renting it, does it just sit there until it ever gets sold? Or how, you know, it's a very cumbersome thing that he's doing, because whoever puts the house or buys the building owns only the building, but not the property it's on. And so, as I say, if he decides, which these guys, Matt, I think you'd agree, travel a lot. Some of the older people that are, are the ones who would be interested in some of this. If they decide to leave and can't sell their house, what happens? Does it just sit there? I asked that question when he was here, and he really didn't seem to have a good answer for that. But as I say, I think that part of it is really problematic, and I know that Mayor, you're gonna hate this, but some people are saying that Maricopa has a better quality of housing than Casa Grande does. And theirs is newer, that's for sure. But the quality is what people want to recognize. And as I say, it's being looked, if you want quality, you go to Maricopa or Scottsdale or somewhere like that. You don't come to Casa Grande because we're not that way. So I hope that we can upgrade our image and work on what we're doing with the property we have. And that's a comment, I'm gonna make the comment and be quiet. I think this is something that we need to look at, and I hope we don't get carried away with doing modular homes and all of these different kind of things. Growth for the sake of growth is the definition of cancer. So we don't wanna have cancer.
Mr. Herman.
You asked the question, and I have limited knowledge, but I do know that we have a lot of these in town that are very nice. And I do agree with the statement that you made, we don't want too many of these.
Right.
I think this is a nice project, and it's a way to use that land, because the single-family homes can't go there, and the guy could put 8-story apartments as is, so I think it's better use. He did agree to ground set them, which from, again, my limited knowledge, looks a lot nicer, and the people won't be looking over the fence at the neighbors there. But again, limited experience, not my business model, but I know more than a lot of people, but a lot less than a lot of people too. But there's a big market for selling these because they're in established places, they're kept up nice, and people do resell the homes on there. And I don't know what they do if they don't pay. I'm sure they have some agreement on there. It's not my business again, but it's his business, and I admire him for that, and I think that people have the right to do their business.
You just hate to see a whole bunch of empty homes.
And I'm sure, yeah, you do. But I think he has a good plan, and again, that's his plan, and it's his business, so I'm sure there's something out of it, but I know that there is a big resale market, and they're very desirable, because there's a few going in right now. But I do agree, we don't want to be known as the Apache Junction of this area either, so. And this one is in the city limits, and other ones are not in the city limits, so we have much better zoning on them than some of the older ones.
I just want to make a comment, and I agree with Mr. Powell on some of the comments, but I think what we have to realize is that, we keep saying that we need affordable housing, and mobile homes today and park model homes are very different than they were 20 years ago. And I think that, we've learned a lot from the mistakes of other towns, not to be disrespectful to them. So I think that we have a handle on it, and I think that, our community and as well as our staff are going to make sure that we do our part to make sure that, that they are kept up. But it's like any home, that if somebody doesn't pay and they get up and walk away from it, whether it's a mobile home or a single-family home, we're going to see the same thing. So we just have to be diligent in our responsibilities around that.
And just to comment on that, they're actually manufactured homes, they're not mobile anymore. And these will be ground set as well, which makes them even less mobile. Any other comments or questions? All right, then I will call for the ordinance, please.
Oh, you already did, right?
Oh, you read it.
Oh, Mayor
Oh,
McFarland, I move
okay,
approval.
it's already been read, sorry.
I move approval of ordinance number 1178.371.1 as presented.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
No, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. Okay, next item is item K2.
Ordinance number 1178.371.2. An ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending zoning ordinance 1178 and its subsequent amendments by changing the zoning from single-family residential attached to mobile home residential on approximately 22.5 acres of property located generally at Courtson Road, Silver Reef Road, and Casa Grande Avenue, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor McFarland, I would move for the passage of ordinance number 1178.371.2 as presented.
Second?
Well, it's been moved and seconded. Can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, item K3.
Ordinance number 1178.371.3, an ordinance of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending zoning ordinance 1178 and its subsequent amendments by changing the zoning from single-family residential attached to planned area development recreational vehicle park overlay on approximately 24.9 acres of property located generally at the Courtson Road, Silver Reef Road, and Casa Grande Avenue, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of ordinance number 1178.371.2 as presented.
How about 3?
Three.
Oh, 3, sorry, I was looking at the wrong one.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. Okay, next item on the agenda is K4, consider authorizing the city judge recruitment process to begin. This is, and we're not voting on this tonight, correct, Larry? This is a motion to give the staff the direction to move forward with your guidance.
Thank you, Mayor McFarland, members of the council. Every 2 years, council deals with the issue of our appointment of a city judge. And that is because our city charter says that the term of our city judge is coterminous with that of the mayor. The mayor serving a 2-year term, then we, every 2 years, engage in this process of selecting a city judge. The action that's before you this evening is made possible because of our circumstances in relationship to the election, of council election and the small turnover. So we're able to get ahead of the game a little bit. And staff has tried as much as possible to mirror the process that the council used 2 years ago. Remember, you recruited twice in 2018 because of resignation. So the second process appears to be, as I read the minutes, appears to be a process the council was fairly much aligned on. And so the action before you this evening kicks off the process, if you will. And there's 4 components to staff recommendation this evening, and you can vote on them individually or you can vote on them together. And you'll also have the opportunity this evening and well, pretty much this evening as we prepare for the meeting on the 21st, to talk about any recruitment parameters that you wish to provide. Again, the process right now is designed to pretty much mirror that which was done 2 years ago. So there's 4 components to the process this evening. The first is to get your approval for the proposed timeline for city judge selection process, and that's included in your packet. And it simply gives you an idea outlining the time and the steps. I'll talk a little bit more about the council appointment date a little bit later on. The second is to approve the draft position announcement for the city judge and authorize the staff to open the recruitment. With your permission, with your approval this evening, we'll open that recruitment tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And again, it mirrors pretty much what the council determined would be particularly the minimum qualifications or the qualifications that were established last year. So this is the announcement that will appear on our website. The third step and the fourth step are affirming processes that were approved 2 years ago. So number 3 is affirming the previous method for selecting a judicial selection committee process. And 4 is affirming the previous city judge appointment process. And the last one there speaks to the issue of how you all conduct a meeting to select a city judge at the end. So all of these are the steps that are necessary to move us ahead. We'll also want to hear from you any other parameters that you wish to establish so we can include those in the proposed ordinance for 2 weeks from last evening. 2 years ago, council only put in the parameters for the Judicial Selection Committee of no more than 5 candidates. The charter requires the committee to forward to you at least 2 candidates. So your direction 2 years ago was obviously the minimum of 2, no more than 5, and that they can be conveyed to you in alphabetical order. Committees in the past has done different things, but that was your direction to the committee 2 years ago, and without any exception or any other suggestions, we'll be bringing that ordinance to you at your next meeting. And then the second step at the next meeting will be to appoint the Judicial Selection Committee. Because again, because of our circumstances, we were able to reach out to you all, and the mayor was able to mirror the process that he used 2 years ago in getting your recommendations or your suggestions for those that might make up Judicial Selection Committee. According to the charter, the mayor will bring those names for your vote again on the 21st. So those are the parameters there. Mayor, you may want to lead a discussion. You asked, I think the council understands that this is the time for their input in relationship to the 4 items that are on for tonight or those that we might bring to you on the 21st. I'll pause there.
Larry, is this the appropriate time? Can we reveal the names for the council? The council was involved, just so everyone knows. I asked the council members to give me a name or names of those who they felt would be good for this committee. And so those names that were given to me, then I gave to Larry, and this is the list that we came up with.
You want me to read the names, Mr. Mayor, at this point?
Please.
And these are, I believe, in alphabetical order. Mike Cruz, Gilbert Figueroa, Mike Henderson, Judy Jackson, and Roger Vanderpool. Those would be the 5 names that we would be bringing before the council.
Proposing that Judy would be the chairwoman.
That is correct. The last one is Roger Vanderpool.
Okay. So the question then that we need to answer tonight is the recruitment process that we're beginning. We need to approve the job flyer. We need to approve the proposed selection process and timeline. And then we need to affirm the selection committee selection process, meaning the process that selection committee would follow. And then affirm the council city judge appointment process, which is what I just said. So does anybody have anything you want to add to this? This is a process that very closely, if not almost exactly, that we followed 2 years ago. Mr. Powell?
I just think it would be, would come off very nicely if we did have the committee ready by December 21st to look into it, and then on December 7th, if we could make our decision. Because if you don't, then you have to appoint somebody as an interim until hers expires, so.
Yeah, I think our goal, and actually, can I talk about that we may move it up, or is it not appropriate? We're talking about this process.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I know that Mr. Barber has proposed several, I believe there's up to 3 dates in December. Scott, you want to talk a little bit about that?
We don't have to have a decision on that this evening, but certainly if the process moves into November, we'll want to know that. The December 7th meeting is the meeting that you'll seat the new council, swear in the new council. Usually a light agenda, and again, depending on how many applicants that are sent to you from the committee, are going to be no more than 5. What I've read is that you interviewed those individuals here in the council. So that's a possibility for the 7th. The next regular meeting, obviously, is the 21st. That pushes the holiday schedule a little bit. The off Monday is the 14th, but I know that I had a few comments with the mayor about the possibility of another date. There's nothing that says we have to have them on Monday night. So the issue is just giving you as much flexibility as possible. If you do not appoint on the 7th, then from a technical perspective, then we'll need to appoint the incumbent judge as the interim judge to make sure that everything happens in the court legitimately from the 7th of December, which the term officially ends, until such time as you effect an appointment.
Yeah, and we're ahead of the game. We're probably a month ahead of 2 years ago when we started this process. So I think we're in good shape, Mr. Powell, to have that done.
Well, and I like your candidate list. I think really got a good group of people.
The committee? You mean the committee
Yeah, the
list?
committee, yeah. Yeah, well, it was input from you all, so.
And just to Mr. Barber's comment about if we need to move it, to another date besides just our regular Monday, I'm all for that because I want to give it the proper time it deserves. And I know last time we seemed a little bit rushed, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So
No,
if we need
I
to do
concur.
that.
Yep, okay.
And Scott, I know the announcement will go out tomorrow, and I see the flyer here. So where do you post this? On the website? Is there anywhere else, any outlets, newsletters, what are the other places you're putting this out?
From 2 years ago, they're a little, because of the change in personnel, they're a little hit and miss. But what we do is we have our recruitment program is called NeoGov. And so everyone applies through the online portal. And so it's posted up on our NeoGov, it's posted up on our website with the link to NeoGov for everyone that would like to apply. Beyond that, I have an ad prepared to place in the local newspaper, but we haven't done a lot beyond that because even with NeoGov, what happens from time to time, even for entry-level positions, is that somebody back in Maryland or New York will see a job for an entry-level job and go ahead and apply. When not, realistically speaking, it would be very difficult for that to happen. So we do get individuals from out of state and way out of state that come. But right now, unless you provide staff other direction, we'll be posting on the city's website and in the local newspaper.
Yeah, to that point, I think that, we need to do our due diligence and get the information out in, the communities that might be looking for this type of position. And so, I would like for us to look at where else could we put it, perhaps on a state level in the judicial community, so.
Doesn't that get covered by the NeoGov?
Not necessarily.
No one
You have to
receives a
look for it,
particular
yeah.
notice unless they're signed up. I think that you can sign up through NeoGov.
We could certainly send an email blast to the city locations. We have all that information. I think our PIO has a very extensive list as well. Would that be a problem?
No, sir, and Mr. Mayor, in every recruitment that we do, there's always a question of how wide we cast the net, if you will, in relationship to advertising. Certainly for department head positions, it's common for us to do a regional recruitment, if not a national recruitment. So it just depends, but I will adjust depending on your direction. I'll adjust the time frame. As it stands right now, we're only scheduled to have it open for application for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think the time frame is fine. I think what they're asking for is just that, and we look more local, like Arizona. I mean, I think I'd be more interested in spreading the net here in Arizona and not nationally. If one push came to shove. That's just my 2 cents. Anybody else? Any other comments? Okay. Well, with that, then, can I get a motion to, if someone would like to read the motion? I think it's set up here, isn't it?
I think the way that the RCA is, you have a couple of different options, right? One, you can just move it kind of as the RCA is to approve all 4 of the elements that Mr. Barber spoke about. Or you could, if anyone wants to, do them separately, you can. But you could do one motion.
Yeah, no,
that
I'm
incorporates all 4
proposing
of
we
the
should do one motion.
Mayor McFarland, I move to approve all 4 elements of the judge recruitment process as just discussed.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Can
Aye.
I ask a question?
Before you vote?
Yeah, before I vote. So, sorry, I just wanted clarification really quick, Scott. So on the minimum requirements, it says bachelor's degree from an accredited college or university and some experience in a judicial setting or a combination of training education. So I just want to clarify, that does mean that a bachelor's degree is not required. Because the way I read it, it's or, I mean, you can read it 2 different ways, but it's basically saying that you don't have to have a bachelor's degree, just experience. Okay. Just wanted clarification.
Which is what we had last time.
Yeah, we did. And I just, but there's, when you read it, you can read it 2 different ways. And I just want to make sure the committee understands that too.
That's where the council landed 2
Yes.
years ago, and so it is permissive. It's flexible language
Yeah.
that we often use in terms of establishing hard minimums
Qualifications.
versus or.
So in the
Combination.
NeoGov, when you guys get those applications, they're not weeding out, people that, okay,
No, we should use supplemental questions to do screening, and we're not going to be using it.
right, okay, thank you.
Does that mean yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Any nays? All right. So that passes. I think the last item really on our agenda is L1, which is a public hearing to amending zoning ordinance number 1178.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. I'll get started on this is a request for a zone change. Dan Carlos is requesting approval for a zone change from urban ranch to general industrial I-2 for approximately 89.9 acres, generally located north of Maricopa Casa Grande Highway and east of Bianco. You can see the location surrounded there in the red. So the site, along with surrounding property, were recently annexed into the city. The purpose of this request is to align the zoning with the existing general plan and position the property for future industrial development. So any future development will be required to obtain approval of a major site plan. You can see the existing zoning is urban ranch, the proposed zoning going to I-2. And the general plan map shows it in manufacturing and industry category. So when we look at the review criteria, we look at the following criteria. And the first is that the proposed use shall be in conformance with the general plan. The area for the proposed request lies within the phase 1 or the primary growth area of the general plan 2020. And then the requested zoning of I-2 or general industrial is appropriate in the manufacturing and industry land use category. So another thing that we look at with that is that we do have a policy to require mitigation measure or restrict development in areas subject to flooding. You can see the map shown on there that shows the flood zones in blue. So portions of the property do reside in the 100-year flood zone. The applicant provided a drainage analysis as part of his zoning submittal. And fortunately, the property can mitigate the flood issues by raising the base floor elevations of affected buildings or other appropriate site modifications, channeling it, putting in some structures, drainage structures along the frontage would work too. So the applicant will further evaluate that at the time of major site plan submittal. So, and the next is rezoning conforms to the general plan if it proposes land uses, densities, or intensities within a range of identified uses of the general plan. The request for a zone change to the I-2 general industrial category within the manufacturing industry land use category is an allowable and appropriate land use within our general plan. And the next one is that the proposed zone change is necessary and proper at this time to meet the land use needs of the residents of the city. So the zone change will allow the owner to appropriately develop and utilize the property. It may also potentially lead to the extension of infrastructures in that area that may in turn facilitate additional industrial development in that area. In regards to notification, we met or exceeded all city requirements. We didn't receive any comments on this particular one. I did receive a call from a gentleman who owns approximately 240 acres just to the west of this site that is also now interested in pursuing a zone change, so it won't be this island zoning. I think some other properties in that area are also going to follow suit. So the recommendation, Planning Commission on a 7-0 vote, recommends the council approve the zone change request, DSA 200091, from urban ranch to general industrial I-2. And that concludes that presentation. Yes, sir.
Mr. Powell?
The I-2, is there other industry that exists there at this point in time that would be heavier than the I-2, or?
So just north, you have the ponds for, I believe it's SRP, the ponding north, and then the mine is just north of that.
Right.
And Frito-Lay is just to the
Yeah, Frito-Lay
east.
is just down the
Okay, I see
road,
where you are.
and that's
Okay.
I-2, and then you've got Abbott right in there too. Nacero was proposed to be just across the street
Right.
to the south. So there is some movement or momentum to getting more industrial development along that area.
Matt?
And that does go right along the railroad tracks, right?
It's on the
This
north
one's actually
side.
north
It's
of
on the
the
north side, okay.
Maricopa Casa Grande Highway, so
Oh,
the
so it's on the
railroad
other
tracks
side of
are on
the
the
road.
south side.
Sorry.
Tracks
So
are on the
it's
south,
Right in
yeah.
that area there of the highway.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's where the wash is too,
Yeah.
so.
That's just driving around out there about 3 days.
Bob?
ago, so.
Just a curiosity question, because this is in a 100-year flood zone, does the fact that it's zoned industry, does that limit what people can do as far as production or storage or anything?
Not from a city standpoint. They would still have the option to use any of our permitted or conditional uses that are allowed in the I-2 zone district. ADQ or Pinal County may have some mitigation efforts that need to be done, but as long as they're meeting their development standards for those floodplain issues, they'd be able to develop it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I know this is a public hearing, so I'm going to open the public hearing and ask for any comments from the public on item L1. Is there anyone from the public who would like to make comment? No? Okay. Seeing no one then, I will close the public hearing and call for an ordinance number, please.
Ordinance number 1178.405, an ordinance of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending zoning ordinance 1178 and its subsequent amendments by changing the zoning from urban ranch to general industrial on approximately 89.9 acres of property generally located north of Maricopa Casa Grande Highway and east of Bianco Road, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of ordinance number 1178.405 as presented.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes?
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, that pretty much is our agenda. We have reports left, so Mr. Powell, I'm going to start with you.
I tell you, I'm almost reportless right now.
Any new books?
I'm not living the most interesting life. So I will pass. I will let
Okay.
somebody else take my place.
All right, Lisa?
I know. We're all kind of, it's so hard. There's not a lot of meetings. I mean, a lot more virtual meetings and
No,
Zoom
that's
meetings and everything, but I just wanted to remind everyone the census is there. I mean, it's supposed to be ending September 30th, so for those that haven't filled up your census, please, please, please encourage everyone to fill their census out by the 30th. Lucid, I know staff, you guys have been working on this for so long, and it is really exciting that it's moving, and we're at this point where the virtual launch is tomorrow at 4 o'clock, so I'm really looking forward to it. Can't wait. I know they've been out filming, Larry said, over the weekend and doing all kinds of stuff, but looking forward to that. But thank you to all the staff for everything you guys have done to get us to where we are today. And then I just really wanted to, I think our police and fire chiefs left, but, you know, there's just, I'm just so impressed, and I talked to Larry a little bit about this today, about how they are handling, you know, some of the community, the incidents in our community. And I was so impressed with the editorial on the incident that happened over here by Whataburger, and how the police officers just de-escalated and worked with the gentleman that was creating some problems. And, you know, it's all it takes is one incident to cause problems, and I'm just really impressed with what our police have done and how they're handling the craziness. I mean, we're all kind of stressed out and going over the edge and getting tired, and there's so many things going on, and I just really commend what they're doing. There was also an incident in my neighborhood on Melrose where you guys probably saw where there was some arson, and the police and fire worked together and they caught the guy, and I was so impressed. So it was just so nice that they're working together and found this person. So I just really thank them. I know they left, but I thank our police and fire for everything that they've done. So, and that's it. I just stay safe. You know, when you get out in town, we actually ventured out and went to a movie this weekend. And so I was a little nervous about that, but everything went well. And we went to Harkins and, you know, masked up and ate our popcorn under our mask. And, but you know, it was nice to see. I mean, it was pretty quiet, but I'm really hoping that we can slowly get back in, and because these businesses need our help. They need us out there. You know, it was kind of slow. You know, not a whole lot of movies out, but it was slow. But I think once you got in there and saw what they're doing assigned seats now, and they're spreading people throughout the theater, so they're only at probably a 25% capacity.
I think that's part of the rules. That
Yes,
can be
it is.
25%.
Yeah. So I think as long as we all still stay safe, and no one loves wearing masks. I mean, that's for sure. But we see that it's helping, and so I just really hope everyone continues to stay safe and do their part.
Thanks, Lisa. Matt?
I have some reporting, but not a whole lot. I want to thank staff from Larry, Stephen, Latanya, her department, Jeff in the community services, our sponsor for the youth commission, because we finally figured out how to, because we need have a meeting to elect our officers, and the poor kids didn't get to have their annual retreat and do all this stuff, so we found a way to have a safe social distance meeting so we can do that. So I want to thank all of them, and I'll report back how that goes after this weekend. But and they're coming to help me with the AV system on Saturday, so I'm excited about that. So we're doing a combination Zoom, in person, so we have the right number of people, and people that don't feel comfortable coming can all be involved. So I just want to, it's taken a lot of work and email on the city's part, and I appreciate them. So, and the kids are looking forward to doing something, interacting, not just school online. So, because the last real meeting we had was their spring break start, and it's like, oh, yeah, you guys will maybe be off for an extra week, and they never got to go back to school or have any more meetings, so it's really sad. So I'm excited, and so are they. And Lucid, not what Lisa talked about, but I have personally noticed, because they're such a big name, but I've seen people at stores with Lucid shirts buying groceries and shopping, and I've seen their trucks coming into town that say Lucid real big, and I've personally done business with contractors and stuff, so they are really already making a presence in town and spending money, just the people, you know, and I've seen them around, so I'm excited about that, and I know they've been contacting realtors and all kinds and eating out and everything, so it's gonna be really good. It's gonna change for the good, but it's gonna be really good, and people in town are really excited. And the one thing I wanted to say is I read the article, I don't know if you guys read the article about how much they cost. It's very much out of my price range, like 150, 160 for the top one on down. But you gotta remember that we're building them in Casa Grande, not for people. They're not gonna sell them all in Casa Grande. Hopefully they sell a couple. But, you know, just like when they built Cadillacs in Detroit, they weren't for just people that lived in Detroit. They were for the entire United States and the world. So that's what's important, because people are kind of saying, well, no one can afford that car in Casa Grande. No, maybe some people can, I hope. But it's important that they're giving jobs to people in Casa Grande. And so that's, and helping our economy, and it's really gonna help. And you see, we get the reports of all the ancillary stuff that's already starting to show interest in town. So I'm excited about it, and the launch tomorrow. And Larry said, Larry said that we could drive a car tomorrow. Is that gonna happen? All right. Thought I'd throw that out there, put it out into the world. But.
Donna?
I'm really enjoying working on the Care Fund Committee. I think that we are really making a difference, and we're getting the money out there fast, and I appreciate the staff that's working on it. We had the League of Cities and Towns a little bit different this year, missed the, the visiting with the other towns, but I did get to a couple of the Zoom presentations and legislative updates and stuff like that last week, so I enjoyed that. And then the other one, I think it was called Pundits or something like that, about tea leaves. That was kind of interesting to attend that, so I got to see that. And then we did some board and commission interviews today, so people are still looking to volunteer for the city boards and commissions, so that's about it.
Bob?
I'm gonna join Mr. Powell and say nothing,
Well,
nothing to report.
he's gonna call you out because he has something else he wants to say.
One more. We did some history last time, as you remember, was reading the things that happened. Will you have a chance right now to step back into 1879? If you go down and across the railroad tracks, there's a dirt road between Sackatone and Florence, like it used to be in 1879. And I need to get a picture of it because it really looks nice. But I watch it every day. And it'll move north and up. And Kevin has really got things going. So thank you very much, Kevin.
Okay. Well, I think Donna mentioned that we did have League of Cities last week, and I actually had the honor to chair the Resolutions Committee, which is a committee that pushes forward the recommendations from the leagues, all the cities and towns in the state of Arizona, for approval with the general business meeting. So that was kind of exciting for me last week. Also, we did a YouTube filming last week that, thanks to Rebecca and also LaTanya for their work on it, and that we put out. I don't know if you've seen it or not. It was an update from the city update. If you haven't, you can catch it on the city's website. It gives you a pretty good update on what's going on. And Matt mentioned it too, but don't forget, you can, even if you didn't sign up for this Lucid Air virtual launch, you can watch it. It won't be personalized for you if you didn't sign up by Monday, but you can still watch it. You can go online and find it at lucid.com. So if you're interested, it's at 4 o'clock tomorrow. We have also a meeting this week on construction trades. We're putting together the last piece. It's not the last piece, actually. It's the next pieces of our Mayor's Roundtable activities, where we're going to actually reach out to contractors, subcontractors, education, our workforce development, Brewers Academy, the high school, and this week we're going to sit down with the CTE instructor who runs the CTE for the high school and put together a potential plan that will include the CTE at the high school for this construction trades program. So we're going to try and grab them when they're in high school, move them up through that, put them in an academy, send them to CAC, and boom, get them jobs here in Pinal County. General plan is out there, so don't forget to go online. You can go online and download it. It's www.cggeneralplan2030.com. The general
Some printed off too here pretty quick.
The general plan is for everybody, and you all of our citizens will be voting on it. So it's important that you take a look at it. I think it's very well put together. Paul Tice and his team have done a phenomenal job. We've added some things in here. It'll be probably the first general plan in the state of Arizona with a water resource plan incorporated into it, which will include a conservation plan as well. In addition, there's going to be some information and a program for electric vehicles as well. So I believe that will also be a first for the state of Arizona. So I'm excited for the plan. I'm excited to get feedback from our community. And so make sure you take a look at it. And we have until November 1st to give feedback to the city, and we will take your comments.
Have you got enough saved up to buy one of those rascals when they come out?
No. I'm hoping the city's gonna buy one, then they'll assign it to me.
City vehicle, huh?
Yeah, city vehicle. Larry's shaking his head over there. Not gonna happen.
I'll have something to say about that.
Well, I'd share. Yeah, just to kind of little recap on the COVID thing, our numbers are looking really, really good. I want to really thank the community of Casa Grande. You have done a phenomenal job of bringing our infection rates down. Literally today, there was one new case. And in the last 7 days, there's been 19, which is the lowest we've been in probably 2 months.
How about death rate?
Well, death rate in Pinal County is 0 right now.
Good.
We've gone 3 days with no reported deaths, so that's Pinal County. I don't get it for 85122, but it looks really good. I'm concerned about the county. There are numbers that they haven't reported, and there are numbers that I'm looking at from from the prisons, and in the last 4 or 5 days, they've been about half of all of Pinal County's reported cases. So if that continues, that will hurt Pinal County's number, and if Pinal County's number gets hurt, that affects schools, that affects our businesses, so keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully, we'll make it through this Thursday. It's every Thursday. I lose sleep Thursday morning when I click on the state's website to see where we're at, but hopefully we'll ride that one out, and because I think it's coming back down after that we had a couple bad weeks, but right now they're about 22 days out before it gets reported into the business and into our school process and the benchmarks that we're monitoring.
And they're not pulling that out, right, Mayor? You
Well,
try to get them to pull the prisons out?
Yes, we're trying to get them to pull the prisons out. That's the purpose of Dr. Spears' program that she's got. And if you go on the website, you can kind of see her little explanation.
Okay.
And she's certainly pushing for the county.
Okay.
So I'm happy the county is taking the reins on this, but it just depends. We're talking about the state here.
Mm-hmm.
And the state is a bigger bureaucracy than the county.
You did a good job on the presentation. I caught that today.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So,
Get an
and if
autograph.
you're a business and you haven't opened, you can get a certificate. But you have to go online. It's simple. It takes literally, it's like 5 minutes. And if you go online to the Arizona Department of Health Services and just search under attestation, I know that's not an easy word to spell and or even know what it means, but it's basically an affidavit. And so you go on there, you answer 10 or 15 questions. It takes literally 5 minutes, and then you click send, and literally they want, because the county is moderate, you'll get a certificate directly back, whether you're a gym, a bar, anything that's been closed. Please go online and fill this out, and then you have to just post this certificate on your business, and you should be good to go. So I don't have anything else. Does anybody else have anything any comments you want to make? Staff, anything?
No, sir.
Okay, and Larry, never mind. All right, seeing nothing, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.